Right, muckers. So, there she is, the Ford 7810. A big firm favourite, it seems, of a lot of people. Not necessarily me. I prefer the 8210. But anyway, the 7810 is that, within that plus or minus a few horsepower, straight six, 100 horsepower tractor of that era, right? 80s, 90s, okay? I've got the 3350, again, straight six, 100 horsepower, plus or minus. And we could look at things like the 956, 1056, the 3085 Massey's, things like that. Again, you know, of that era and that size. Because in the day, these were the tractors. They were the mainstay of most farms, that sort of size. Then there was the push up to sort of 110 horsepower. Then you started seeing the 125. That was the next goal. Then the 150, and so on and so forth to where we are today. Anyway, buying a classic tractor, muckers. Oh, it could be a horror show. A lot of enjoyment, but it can be a real horror show. And I know a lot of you out there that watch the channel, you know, a lot of you have got classic tractors. A lot of you would like to have classic tractors, and just because of where you live, or you don't have the facilities, or you don't have the spare money to do something, you know, up, because you got the initial purchase price, and then that doesn't stop there. So, at the end of the day, it's a double-edged sword. They're lovely to have, but they take some money, you know, and sometimes you're just better off to go to a nice working day or vintage show. And appreciate that work, time and effort that somebody else has put into it. You can hear it, you can see it working, lovely. At the end of the day, you just get in your car and drive home. He's got to cart the bugger home or whatever, and then he's got to, you know, maintain it, fix the stuff that's broken and all that. So, yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. But anyway, this one, muckers, 7810, Generation 2, it's just a series I like. I bought it because it is straight and true and honest, as in you can see the horrors. That is not hiding anything, all right? Now, a big thing I have when buying tractors, be it vintage or classic tractors, is you'll see people that'll say, yes, I said everything done to it, mate. As you know, and it's got a lovely coat of paint on it, and I said everything done to it, which means they've dipped the oil. Maybe. It means that they might have changed a filter, possibly. At the end of the day, you just don't know. There's other people I know, if they've said, look, mate, we've done the front axle on it and whatever, they've done it. You can see most of the time. So I like to get them in this condition where, as I said, I can see her in a full glory or horror show type, you know, situation. So yeah, let's have a look round it and I'll show you what I mean. Right, so the first thing that I noticed, which is, you know, fairly unusual for a 7.8, because the Ford had kind of got themselves together a bit with the 7.8. But anyway, what I'm saying about that is that it's got a replacement block, replacement engine. 7.8s, as a rule, were fairly good. They didn't go porous that often, not compared to some of the other models. But anyway, this is at a replacement block. And that's not a bad thing. I think it's about 1998 it was done. So that's actually a bonus. The other thing is it's got the later, it's got a coolant filter on there. Because the early ones didn't have them. Later ones did, Gen 3s and all that. Again, to stop the issues of, you know, the blocks going porous and that. So they had a coolant filter. And that made a big, big difference. So this has obviously had a later engine, or a replacement late engine, about 1998. And they've done all the upgrades as well at the same time. So that was a bonus. So see all that, it's got, you know, because the tractor's got about over 9,000 hours on, which is a fair few hours. It's not the end of the world, but it's a fair few hours. But on a replacement engine, so you could, you know, who knows when it went. We can have a guess roughly hour-wise. So she's probably done, I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say she's probably done 3,000-4,000 hours on this engine. Anyway, who knows? But the engine runs well. It runs
really well. So again, it wasn't just sort of bodged in, it was done properly, and probably at a great expense. Now, all these 10 series and even the, you know, the 100 series, so like the, well, 7600s, 8100s, and then the 8210s and TWs, like cabs. It's the worst thing on these muckers. The cabs, they suffer from rot, and this one's no exception. However, those that know. Those that don't, that'll look like a horror story. Those that know will see, actually it's not a bad one to start with, because I've had a prod around in here, although there's a bit of rust and surface rust in there, and we've got to see when we get the actual windscreen out, because that's cracked. You see, that's, look, got another screen, but that's not a problem. But it's an expense, don't forget. But anyway, when it comes out, this shouldn't be too bad. If it is, the repairs that you need on the frame here won't be that horrendous. Bottom of the doors though. Bottom of the doors, you can just see there, Marcus, look. The actual, so the lip with this rubber seal fits over and sandwiches either side. So if you can imagine there's a lip like that's like that, and the window is here, the glass is here, the rubber seal fits either side of it. Well, that lip and here, they're separated in the door, so that's going to want looking at, okay? Around here again, yeah, probably the same thing, separated. Up here, there's a bit of scuff in there, look. These aren't too bad here, but there, she'll want doing. But you can get actual pieces that you cut in, let in, and weld in, okay? So there is these little replacement bits, because they're known to go, are available. And people like Logan McMaster, you know, the tractor cab specialist, who I got the interior kit, the 8100 off, he does all that. So that's really, really good. Because as I said, there's a growing market for these. These tractors really have had their day as a frontline tractor. So they're now gone into the hands of the collectors or somebody that's got a farm or does a bit of contracting, but just wants one of these just for a few days stroke weeks in the year, maybe just to put on a mower or something like that. All right, so these parts are being made now so they can be rebuilt. However, let's not kid ourselves, because this isn't pretty, all right, as in the door. So on the inside, again, surface, when you do this part, we'll look at this, but that's all right, that's quite good. However, that isn't quite so good.
Oh, for God, never sake!
All right, so that's all gonna have to be cut out and another piece let in there when the windows are out. But this side is actually solid. They can go there. This side is good. The other thing is, Marcus, apart from the, obviously where the doors rub, whatever, but the actual mud guards are fantastic. Some of the best I've seen for a long while. So that was a bonus. So, you know, when you're looking at a tractor and thinking, shall I have a deal or not? These are all the things that you weigh up. The pros and the cons, all right? So, cons on this one, doors. Doors are bad. The pros, mudguards are good. And the majority of the cab is good. Tin work on the old bonnet and that's good. Engine, as we said, replaced engine. You know, got a replacement in there, that's good. Okay, front axle. Looking at the front axle, we checked out all the king pins just to get. They look at this point, which is always a good indication. They look good. They don't look all worn in the top there. So again, that's good. Probably been greased well, and you know, so that's good. Those that know will know something's missing here. It's the aircon. So that I dare say the aircon has packed up, seized up or something, and they've just removed it. Rather than get it fixed, they've removed it. So a replacement has to be found, and they're not cheap. Anyway, this side, what we got here? What's that like? That's gonna, yeah, that's going to want attention. So this window's got to come out. Actually, this one isn't too bad. If you hold that, it's going to, yeah, it's going to want doing. So, and this door, to be fair, is because it gets a lot more use. That's not very good, muckers.
That was fucked. That was a bit fucked.
That's not very good at all. In fact, the catch is done. So, again, here that was good. little bit of welding what I'm doing in there, but the other side rail outside the window there is good. Mudguards, again, this side is good. Cab interior, for the age, very good, muckers, very good. All the cladding is good, top and bottom. Yeah, it wants another, well, it could have just seat, the actual seat is good. It's not wobbly, it's not all worn up. So a set of cushions would work. But let's have a look. We can look about doing the seat when we do it. But inside, as I said, overall, very, very pleased with that. Floor mat again, that's all good. So these are all pluses. Another plus, tyres. Back tyres are good. They're probably, I'd say 50-60%. So that's good, you know, because tyres are expensive, muckers. Obviously, you can get cheaper tyres, you can get right expensive tyres, as we know. But they're still an expense. And you could easily throw 2 to 3 grand on tyres, depending on which, you know, level you go for, which brand or whatever. You could easily spend that sort of money. Front ones, they'll do a turn, but they want replacing. So there's going to be an expense there. So yes, they'll run for a while we're getting everything done. So that's a bit of a plus, but they're going to need doing. That's a bit of a minus. So I've got to, you know, factor in the cost of that. As we said, the aircon. So the aircon compressor should be there. So she's got aircon fitted. Well, all the system is fitted, but someone snipped it off underneath the bonnet here. What else? Oh, how many people noticed this? Looking out, but it's all one beside. So I can't just do one. Pair of lights. So I got to do that. They're not the end of the world. They're not like, you know, mega money, but it's still another expense.
$10 each.
Right, so let's just try and show you now, Mark, where the money goes, what the expensive parts are, and, you know, how far we're going to go with this tractor. Well, the thing is, that cab needs doing. And once you start doing a cab, you've got to get into it. Like I say, all the glass has got to come out. A lot of the cladding will have to come out, if not all of it. Once the cladding comes out, you're then into a cladding kit. Right, tell you what, let's just do this on a board.
Right, muckers. So I just dotted a few of these down on this board, and I will just go through them, and at the end we'll add them up. All right. So
we'll start off with the cab. Well, to get all the glass out, and then we've got to sort out these bits of rot and whatever, muckers, and we've got to have bits folded and let in and welded up and whatever. I've got a lad that'll do this. Just to give you an idea, people say, get some second-hand doors. You try finding them. And people are buying second-hand doors to go right through them, do them up, and have them ready to sell to people that want them. So, as an example, I know I can send my 2 doors off and straight away get, you know, in return, get another pair of doors that have already been done. They're £800 each, 1,600 quid for the pair.
I ain't seen a beating like that since somebody stuck a banana in my pants and turned a monkey loose.
Now, the boys that have done these cabs, they'll tell you, you know, you can really go to town if you blast them and do everything that needs doing to them. You can spend thousands. Anyway, I've got a lad that'll do this. He said that the cab is going to cost about £1 grand. So he'll do the doors and he'll do all the work it wants doing to it. So the cab, as we say, is £1,000. All right. But as I said, you could easily spend 1,600 quid on the doors and easily spend another £1 grand on the cab. Just how things are. Glass, we want another screen. That is about 95 quid. All right. Cladding kit. Look, top and bottom cladding kit, all the bits you'll need, and that you're easily going to throw, I think you can easily throw 500 quid at that. All right, just the way it is. The aircon. So I've got to find a second-hand aircon pump. And that guard the other side there. So, again, Marcus, I could easily end up spending, let's just say 350, get a second-hand one a bit, all right? Just as, you know, we'll see what happens. Can we up or down of that? The mirrors, she wants a pair of mirrors because they're It's in better days. We can probably do mirrors because I want the that one's going to want the arms. Probably done for 50 quid. I think I can get them for. So I was last quoted. Right, lights. I get a pair of lights, decent ones, new, 60 quid. So that's not so bad. The pre-cleaner, the air cleaner at the front here, this rusty old thing. That is, I think, 55 for a decent one. Exhaust. Right, muckers. Haha. As some of you eagle-eyed types already spotted, it's exhaust. Although it's the right type, as in silencer box and then the pipe at the top, it's not the right one. It is not the right one. This silencer is too short. There should be more silencer, but another that much more silencer, and then the pipe. This is probably off, I don't know, 5, 6, 10, something like that. But whatever. Probably an aftermarket, whatever. But it does my head in. It should be right. However, there are several manufacturers of aftermarket Ford 7, 8, 10 exhausts. A lot of them are generic, so they'll fit all models. They're quite right. A case in point is this one. It fits, it works, it ain't right. Then you get those hideous shiny black enamel ones. I just can't stand them. I like them to be matte black, or at least a satin black, how they were. As things are at the moment, the current situation within the world, a lot of these people that, you know, have these parts normally can't get them. So you can't even get an aftermarket one. Anyway, aftermarket muckers, you are looking, if you can get one, roughly 80 to 100 quid. That might be one of those shiny black enamel ones, or it might be a poorly made, you know, generic one. But there are one or two decent aftermarket ones, but I just want an original one. So I rang our New Holland dealer. Now, Marcus, when I tell you this, somebody's going to go, they've marked that price up wrong, or no, that can't be right. No, it's what I thought. How much do you think an exhaust, genuine, from New Holland for a 7, 8, 10 is? What do you reckon? 876 quid. Oh, yeah, I know. You're going to say exactly what I said. But I got a mate that is a storeman for New Holland, and he checked it, and he said, yeah, it is. That's what the price is, 876 quid. Now, I like things to be right, muckers, but not that much. However, being a decent partsman, right, he said, let me have a look at this. He said, I don't know why. He said, there's 2 different serial numbers on these parts. He said, and those ones are from one supplier, and these other ones, long story short, muckers, we're talking just over 250 quid for a genuine one. So that's a big difference. It's not great, but it's a big difference. So anyway, genuine exhaust. I said you can get one for 100 quid if you're not that bothered. But I am. Exhaust, 250 quid. All right. Now, tyres, we said backs will do a turn, muckers. They're all right. There ain't nothing wrong with those. They'll be all right for a while. Front ones, they'll run, but we won't replace them. I reckon we're going to probably end up spending about 600 quid on tyres. If we get some decent ones, so. Now a service. This is the hideous part, muggers. I can get a full, genuine New Holland service kit. All the filters that I need. Cab filters, you know, air filters, all that stuff. All the oil filters, back end, front end, whatever. 120 quid. I can get a kit for that, right? However, muckers, you've then got the oil. And at the moment, oil has gone through the roof. To do the back end and do the engine, I think 65, 120, 240. We ain't going to have much change, muckers. Time we've done all the oils, we're not going to have much change out of 300 quid just for oil now. Oil's just virtually doubled. Anyway, but you can see there, look, final price there, 420 for oils. So just wipe them out of there. That gives us the total there for them two. Right. So move up there now. There we go, just so you can see how we got to that figure though, because that is mental. Now, paint, muckers. Now this is going to need a bit of paint, because obviously we're going to do all this work, we can cut bits in and whatever, it's going to want some paint. So we can do that again, but paint and all that sort of stuff, and I can paint, luckily, and I've got the stuff to do it. I've done it for a few years, and I can paint to, you know, fair standard. But there's still a cost to that. And you're going to probably do, I'd say, 100 quid just in paint alone. That's without having somebody do it, because I can do it. If you're going to get somebody else to do this, you can spend several hundred. If you're doing the whole tractor, you could be into 1,000, 1,500 just for a basic job, and you can go up from there, because it can go up and up and up. You can spend thousands when you want to do it out of the factory sort of spec. But that's not what we're into, as I said. But I've got to buy the paint. I'll buy decent paint and thinners and whatever. That's going to cost me 100 quid. So it starts to add up. And that's just to get this tractor to an acceptable level, muckers. You know, let's not kid ourselves. This isn't, you know, a big restoration, but mechanically, I'll go through everything. You know what I like to do. Mechanically sound is where I'm always aiming for. Paint and cosmetics is whatever. It's showing a bit of its life. It's showing a bit of its history. I haven't got a problem with that. But it's got to be presentable. I can't keep letting rot happen in the cab and it getting worse and worse. I've got to stop that. And we'll do it. We're going to do it right. Mechanically, we'll go through everything. We'll check everything. We'll change what needs to be changed, and you know. But this is what I'm saying. Just look already. Let's just add this up, muggers. All right. So the grand total is £3,480, muggers. And as I said, that's just to get things going. Oh, put another battery on. I mean, you can easily over 100 quid there. So, do you know what I mean? And we know there's going to be other things. We've just gone through the basics, Muck. So you know the further you go in, the more you're going to find. We know this. Don't forget, this is a friend of mine that does all this, and he owes me 1 2. He's doing that. You could double that. Paint, we know. If we can get somebody to do it, Muck, because that could easily be 5. At the end of the day, this will probably be 4 to 4.5 if we're sensible with it and we do it right. Okay, Muck? Let's not kid ourselves. Paint hides a whole host of horrors, and takes us back to why I'm saying I like to buy them like this. I can see the horrors. We know they're there. Nothing's been covered over. It doesn't take a lot, Marcus. I'll tell you this now. Just to take this down, blow it in, and that all looks nice. It looks all right. That looks okay. And you don't even bother giving them the old bang and giving that a little prod and bloody hell. We see what we've got. We can see that. Now, because these tractors are starting to command a bit of money now and a bit of value, 1 or 2 of them have been thrown on the market, and there's some ones that have just had basically a 5 litre overhaul and some new decals put on the side, and all look really shiny and new, and they put a new seat in it. A lot of this has been covered up. So it really is buyer beware. But there we are. Like I said, as I do bits, I'll tell you actually what I have spent, and if let's just say that this comes to, I don't know, the aircon, I pick it up for 150 quid. I'll tell you, and we can alter the thing. But there we are, muckers. We know what we've got. It's given us an idea. This is the thing. We're not going to go into this blind, all right? We've got an idea. This is the horror that awaits us at a minimum, I think. But the tractor overall is nice. Muckers, listen, I've driven this thing a fair bit now. She's all right. She's all right. Mechanically, she's all right. All the gear shift, clutch, brakes are brilliant. Might have to have that dash looked at, because I've done the whole thing where it just goes black at the bottom, but all the gauges work. But look, where do you stop?
but we'll have a look. We can get, there's, you know, you can get those done. Yeah. So this is the reality, muckers, of owning and buying classic tractors. At the end of the day, as I said, you can get one that's been, you know, stripped down, completely rebuilt, gone through, so it's all pucker, proper paint job, a real show winner. But you are going to pay for that. You really are going to pay for that. For me, the enjoyment isn't so much the owning them, it is that doing all these things, getting them back up to a level where they're usable again once more. And this whole thing's still usable, but she's a little bit doggy around the edges, and that's what we've got to put right. But as you said, there's a cost to that. However, in the new year and the videos for next year, we're going to concentrate on this one. We've got 1 or 2 other things turning up. We'll do some stuff on the 3350 because I haven't done a bit on that for a while now. And she does need just that last few bits done to finish her off. But again, that's the stuff I enjoy, muckers. All right. Right, muckers, question time. Now, staying with the theme that we've been looking at this week, classic tractors, and I'm going to set the criteria for this one, all right? And I know people say, oh, classic tractor, well, technically it's 1973. No, and I don't want, well, to me, a classic tractor is anything after World War II. No, I'm asking the question. I'm setting the criteria. 1980. To 1990, and including 1980, and including up till 1990, right? And if you aren't sure if your tractor actually fits within that age range, do a bit of research and find out before you give me your answer. But that is the criteria. And I don't want anyone saying, well, I know it's technically not in your age range, but I do like a 2015 built Fendt. I do like, no. Or, you know, well, actually, in my day, a classic would be something from 1950. I don't care. 1980 to 1990, all right? What classic tractor would you like? If you could have one, what would you have? A classic tractor, 1980, 1990. Put your answers in the old squid pit below in the comments section, muckers, all right? And I'm going to have a look through them, the answers and everything, and the one that I'd like to look of most, the reason why you want that tractor, then yeah, I'm going to just find a prize, and I've got 1 or 2 nice ones in mind. So on the next video, I'll tell you who's won, and yeah, you'll win something. Best way to keep in touch, muckers, with what I'm up to and what's going on the channel. Obviously, the easiest thing to do is subscribe, press the notification bell, then press all notifications, and that'll do no good at all, as we know. But anyway, the other thing you can do to make sure you get told when I put a video up is to go onto Instagram. You'll find me on there as Lord Muck 4890, and I'm always putting reels and posts and little bits of footage and stuff up on there because I quite like Instagram. So much better than Arsebook. And on the lead up to Christmas, muckers, you know, we're going to be putting out quite a few videos and a bit more content. And you know, the other thing is, because I've been working with some, you know, really good companies this year, I've been able to get 1 or 2 little goodies, and that's the nice thing, especially this time of year, so I can do some giveaways. So in the next few weeks, we're going to be doing some giveaways, both on Instagram and on the channel. So as I said, subscribe, make sure you're following on Instagram, and then you won't miss out. Also, muckers, if you remember earlier this year, we did a giveaway, and I had a diesel major, and that was won by young Duncan up in Northumberland. And at the moment, we've got a super major in here.
I'm having all bits done to it and whatever. Yes. So I'll probably give you a bit of an update of the progress of this as we're doing it. But that's quite a nice original tractor. Don't forget as well, if you like this sort of thing, check out the old Fudweasel's channel.
He's a useless shite, that boy.
He's doing more and more on there about things like this and things like that. And he's even explaining how this works. That doesn't half weigh something. That would go in the scrap bin absolutely lovely.
What? So, there we go. All good, is it? Did you like that? You like the 7.8, do you? Do you like the 7.8? Like the 7.8 was all good. If she likes it, that's good enough, isn't it? I don't. Anyway, so, like I said, follow us on Instagram, muckers, and you'll keep up to date with what we're up to. And yeah, I know. We're doing this all now. We know this. Thank you. That's what, yeah. So, muckers, it's that time again. And until the next one, do well.